Right, you should now see what is the finished AA box. And if you remember last time we looked at the top part only, and that's on the video that's online now. That's the bit we did last time, which you can see the top of the box now. So that was the one we done last time. Now we're going to start looking at this bottom bit down here. So it should be a fairly straightforward one. Again, with the rider, that whichever way I do it, there's always a dozen other ways to do it. So I'm not saying what I'm suggesting to you is the only way, far from it. So what we'll do, we'll make a start by now, the information we need to know to carry on from this is the size of this square here. So we can draw the bottom one, and that's 15.5 millimeters, basically, or 15 millimeters. And we can measure that by using the measure tool and just coming down on one of those edges, and we can see it's 15.5 millimeters, okay? So what we're going to do is to go into a new sketch, hit the sketch button, get our orientation where we want to go, and we'll select that one there. And I'm going to draw a base first of all. So we the create rectangle tool with the center point. So we can click on the center point there and draw it out. And then we can type in the dimensions we want. So what we're going to type in is our 15 millimeter base, which is 15 and tab. I'll explain why I'm doing 15 and not 15.5 in a moment. And then we can zoom in. So we can now add on top of that, I want to add the thickness of the wall thickness. So the easiest way of doing this is to take the offset tool and highlight. And I don't want a plus figure, I want to bring it in. So it's going to be a minus figure, and I'm going to do -1 millimeter to give us a wall thickness, as it were. Now, if I flick back to the main box a moment, you can see that we had little corner pieces on here, and it's these corner pieces that line up with this outer edge. So what we're going to do is go back, and we're then going to create another offset. And this time we will go positive, but we only need to go positive by ½ millimeter. And that takes us back to the 15.5 millimeter of the original square cover, okay? And the next stage now is to extrude that out to create our plinth that this box is going to stand on. So we'll finish the sketch. And then I tend to go slightly like that because it just makes it easy when you extrude. And we're going to extrude out, and we're going to click on that one. And I'm going to bring that one up 3 millimeters. Okay, and then I'm going to click on the outer one there. And I'm going to bring that one up 2 millimeters. So that then, we turn off the sketches. That then gives us the base that we're going to work from. Now the next thing is to start creating our side. And for that, we're going to go on one of these sides here. We're going to sketch on this top face there. Okay. So if we click the create sketch and then click on there, that will create the sketch on that plane rather than other planes. Okay. Now it doesn't matter what side we draw it on. So the next stage on this now is to draw another rectangle in there, and this time I want it to be 14.5. okay, and what I'm going to do now is we've got to do the small insets that we're going to want to create these wooden slats. So the way I'm going to do that is to do a center square and in there, and I want it 0.5 high, tab, which will then take me to the bottom one, and I want it 0.25 wide. Now, the reason I've done it with the center is because it was easier to draw it with the center and then remove the bits I don't want than to try and draw a square there. That's the way I tend to work. So we pick the scissors tool and we basically cut away the bits we don't want. And we'll just get rid of those two construction lines. So we end up with that shape. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is just turn the bodies off a moment to make it easier to see where we're going. So what we want to do now is repeat this along this edge. So the way that we can do this is to go into create, and we're doing a rectangular pattern, and then we can select each line or simply drag and draw around it. Okay. We just swap those over so we can see what we're doing. And this is the panel we're going to use. So zoom out so you can see what we're doing. Now, if you're not sure which distance is which, because one of these here refer to the horizontal movement, the other one is the vertical movement. So if you're not sure which is which, just click the arrow the way you want to go and just put a couple in there, and you can see that it's that one we're working with. Now what I want to do, I want to create these grooves, as it were, at 1.5 millimeters apart. So I'm going to put in 1.5 there, and I want it as spacing, not extent. Change that one to spacing, and you can see now that's gone back down. So let's just reset that again to 1.5, and there they are, 1.5 apart. But I want them going both ways. So direction is changed from one direction to symmetrical, and then they go both ways. And then you just increase the number until you fill the line to what you think you want. You'll always have an odd number here, of course, because you've got a center one and grooves either side. So we're going to increase this up to 9. Okay. And then we're going to click OK because we're happy with that. Now the next job now is to create our little nobules that go on the end. And the way I do that is to use a rectangle tool, taking that point as my center point, and then coming in 1 millimeter. So 1 millimeter, press the tab key to go to the other one, 1 millimeter, and then press enter. And then do the same on the other end. A lot of this might be a bit confusing, but it will become apparent what they're for as we go by. Okay. Now the other thing I do at this stage is to clean it up a bit, because the only bits I want, let me get a bit more real. I only want this top bit here. So I'm going to use the scissors and get rid of those, because I don't want those construction lines, or the one at the bottom. And I can go up here then, and I want to create, I don't need that. I don't need that. You can see that I'm creating a profile. And the same at this end. I forgot that one. So you can see I've got a profile created. Now we can finish that sketch. So what we're going to do now is we're going to extrude this one up, because this will produce our wall. So again, go on that side. I'll put the bodies back on so we can see what's happening. And you can see that body now I want to extrude up, and I want to extrude it up 25 millimeters. That's going to be the height of the box. Type in 25, and there's the back wall done, with our little corner pieces already in place. Okay. And what we're going to do is finish off the back wall with just flick back to the main box again. We want to get a number pad on it before we start copying. So what I'm going to do now is go onto this back. It doesn't matter where you go. When you're clicking along here, that's because it's picking up the individual planks. Okay. Now it doesn't matter which one I pick, because I want to do a sketch that's on the front of these planks. So which one I pick doesn't really matter. So I'm going to hit the sketch tool and pick up one of the planks. I want to find the center line. So all I'm going to do is do a line, go over here and hit the construction line, and basically just go from this top corner. Whoops, when I get there, down to there, just to give me an idea where the center is. Now we're going to put the box in now for that thing. So again, center rectangle again, onto the center line. And the box I want to do, I've worked out beforehand. I'm going to make it about 4.5 millimeters, not 45. And I'm going to make it 2.5 millimeters high. And you notice it's construction line because I forgot to go back into drawing. So we go back on there and it's back in drawing. So we've now got that on there. Now I need to make a thickness of the box, which is that lip we seen. So again, we use the offset tool, highlight it, and I want to come in. Now I want to make a thickness of 0.5 millimeter, so it's 0.05. That's too thick, so we'll make it 2.25. I should add at this stage that some of these small measurements, if you're doing filament printing, you might need to increase them to allow the filament printer to actually print them. If you're doing resin, then these sort of measurements should be okay. Press enter, and we've got now the position of our new box. Now, we finished the sketch. We want to create the lip of the box, which is this lip around here. So what we're going to do is go into extrude, and we're going to, now you'll find that there's more than one bit. That's because the planking. So just hold the shift key down and click all of them until you've got it all in blue. Now if we just extrude it like so, you can see that, we get control of it again, that we've got the gaps behind it because I've drawn it on this plane. So the trick for that one is to do it symmetrical, so it goes back as well as forward. And I only want to come forward 0.5 millimeter again, so we'll change that back to 0.5 and go down here. Now I don't want to join, I want to make it a new body. So you can see now, look, where it's actually filled in the gaps in there as well. Now our next move is to create one thing, one plane at the back, as it were, to put our number on. So again, what we're going to do now is click on that one, hold the shift key down, click the same thing again, click on all the bits, and we're going to extrude it. And again, we're going to go both ways, so we fill in these gaps behind it. So it's symmetrical again, but we don't want to come far, so 0.25. Because if you remember, that was the depth of the grooves that we done. And don't forget to take that back to join. And you can see now we've got our box done. Okay, next stage is to put a slight bevel on it. So we're going to pick the bevel tool, chamfer tool, click it, then hold the shift key down to add to it. And then you can either type in an amount or just put it by eye and just put a slight bevel on it. Whoops, too far. Again, if you're filament printing, you might miss that out because the filament may not actually be of a resolution to produce that. Next stage is to put the number of the box in, and we're going to put that on this plane in the middle. So again, hit the create sketch key. We're putting the sketch on there, and it always jumps back to the middle again. And we're going to go create text, and we're going to draw. And you notice that on there, I've been able to draw it in reasonably well, because as I said earlier, I set my grid to 0.25. Now obviously that's much too big to go in there. You move up here and type in what you want. We'll have this as box 125. And then we need to change the size of it. And if we take it down to about 1.3 millimeters, it will fit in. Alignment, center. and also alignment, center up and down. We could make that a little bit bigger. So we'll change that to 1.4. Okay. And you can change the font if you want to. And okay. Next stage now is to bring that out. So again, working on an angle when you extrude, and I find is better because you can see what the extrude is doing. So we highlight it. Finish sketch first, sorry. Highlight it into extrude and bring it out. Now we could measure it, but I just want to bring it out level with this face. So having selected it, just click on this face and it will come out level to that face. I'll switch off the sketches so we can see, and there's the box on the side with the holes filled in there, etc. So what we've got at the moment is one side on a base, okay? Now the next stage now I'm going to do is to copy this entire side, okay? So what we're doing now, we're going to go into create, and we're going to use the pattern and a rectangular pattern. Of course, I've already got it there, but you know, if you put everything up there, you've got no room for anything else. So I'll work on the long way into rectangular pattern. But do I want a rectangular pattern? Not really, because a rectangular pattern will just allow me to create a row that way and a row the other way. It's not what I want. So I'm going to pick one that you don't necessarily think is right. I'm going to pick a circular pattern. And then I want to select the bodies. And that's the body I'm selecting, okay? And then I want to select the axis. So click on that, and the axis I'm going to select is this center green one that goes up the middle, look, like so. And then if you go on the top, you can see that what it's done is put 3 in there because it says 3 there. But if I go to 4, I've got a nice square and all the bits are in there. And click OK. And there's my box. But I've got this side as well. So I need to get rid of this side. Now there is 2 ways of doing this. I'll just backtrack a minute. Let me just take that one out. The other way of doing it, if you want to, I'm going to go back to 4 in a moment to show you something else. But if you just want to create 3 sides, because of course the 4th side will have the door on it. So what you can do is to go into the circular pattern. Again, pick bodies, select the axis, which is the green one, put 4 in, and whoops, select the axis again, axis. Let me redo that again. Got myself into a knot then. Pattern, circular, bodies, body, select axis. And put 4 in. So I've got the 4 in. Now there's one side I don't want. So if I wanted just to have 3, if I click this button here called suppress, you notice I got little tick marks corresponding to each side. If I uncheck one of them, that side will disappear. So you can see now, look, I've got one side missing, which I can put my door on. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go back to where we were a moment with 4 sides on there. Right, where am I? Redo. Right. Okay, so we're going to go back now, finish that when we got the sketch there in place. Without, I've lost the numbers. Hang on a minute. Where'd the numbers go? Let's put the numbers back in again. create, add text, put your text in. It's not taking the text now, is it? What's the matter with it? Whoops. 1, 2, 5. And that will do us. Let's just extrude that again. Okay, but back to where we were. So as I was saying, to show you something else, which is why I want to do 4 sides. So we're going to go back into create, into pattern, circular pattern, bodies, select the body, select the axis, which is our green one, select 4 sides, and okay. So what I want to do now is pick a side. We're going to go on that side. Let's turn off the sketches so we can see what we're doing. I want to get rid of all this. So I thought, how can I do that? Well, one way of doing it, of course, is to go, and this is, you don't need to do this way. You could have drawn the door in the hole that we had when 3 sides were there. But this is something that you might find useful for other things. Use extrude tool. Click on that one, okay, and then pull it out as far as you like, basically, but pull it out to, say, there, or a bit more, say to there. And then what you can do then is, don't cut it, join it so it stays there, okay, and then go back on it, and then take it back in again. Minus 1.5. And then you've got a blank front. So you could do it that way if you wanted to. Okay. But what I'm going to do is just draw over it. So the answer there for me is to go onto this one, take that one, extrude it back to there, take that one, extrude it back to there. And you notice that all I'm doing is using that tool here, highlight each one you want. And just take them back out the way. Oops. I'm going to draw the door on top of all this. So we go back to there. And what I'm going to do is turn the bodies off so we can see what we got and put the sketches back on again. We're going to go onto sketch, onto here. Whoops. And put a door back in, which is difficult to see the things here. There. Down to there. And finish sketch. And then highlight the sketch we've got, which is that one. And we're going to do a symmetric again, distance, sorry, symmetric. And we're going to pull it out by that much and join it. And then we don't want this back piece. We've got to create the door in here now. So what we're going to do now is to go and highlight that one. Highlight that one. And take it back. To the front then. And cut. And now we've got the panel that we can put our door onto. Get rid of that. Sketch is behind, so don't worry about that one. So let's put it upright again. And now we can draw a door on there by clicking on there, getting our sketch. And that one. Put our door in. And whether you put a panel on the door is up to you. We could do, I suppose, so use the offset tool, click on there again, and create a panel in the door along those lines. Okay. Click on that one, finish sketch, bring it out by 0.25 millimeters. Click on that one and push it in by about 0.25 or minus 0.15, say. Yeah, whoops, too far. Minus 0.15. And that gives us the door. We've got an anomaly up here, which we'll get rid of in a moment. But the answer now is to put the AA badge on the front. And if you remember, we did that one by inserting an SVG file. Insert the SVG file, which is on the computer. There. Open. And we're going to put it on there. And it's miles too big, obviously. So let's make it a bit smaller. And then let's move it up onto the door. So there's the badge in place there. Okay, now we can't see the badge. Sketches have gone off, so turn the sketches back on again. Now you can. Now we want to be able to emboss the badge. The problem is, of course, we keep picking up this bottom sketch. So the answer is to turn the bottom sketch off, then you can get the badge. Sometimes you'll find that when you're trying to get at a sketch, you can't always get it at it because another sketch is in the way. Well, turn the underlying sketches off, and even sometimes turn the bodies off as well if they get in the way, because then you can get at what you want to work at. So we're going to pick up on that one, and we're going to extrude it, and we're going to pull it out by, let's say, 0.5. And there's our badge on there now. We'll get rid of that lot. So you can see now we begin to take shape. Now we need to put a couple of hinges on the side. So the answer there is to go back onto that one, sketch it, and again, zoom in. I just do a small square. You can measure these if you want to. I'm doing them freehand, purely to save a bit of time. Two hinges. Well, I had it. Let's put a door handle over this side. And let's put a small mark for the lock to go. Finish the sketch. And again, they've all gone off. Right, so we want, you notice there we've got a slight thing there because it overlaps the edge. So we'll highlight those and extrude them out by, we highlight both of them. And that one. And extrude it out again. See which way you're going. 0.5. And on that edge, and that edge, we'll put a small fillet just to make it, you know, look a bit more like a door handle. And then over this side now, we've got our hinges here. So again, highlight both the hinges. On the bottom one, holding the shift key down, obviously, hold shift key down to do multiple selections, and then extrude, and extrude this both ways. So we're covering these gaps here, and we want to go both ways, symmetrical, And again, 0.5 should be enough. And there's our hinges. Now it's only gone the one way. So let's go back again and find out where we went wrong. Highlight, highlight, and extrude, and symmetrical, and 0.5. Better. Oops, I cut it wrong way. That's the other thing you have to be careful of, is that it tends to default to cut, which is a bit of a pain, to be honest with you. So extrude again, both of them symmetrical. I think 0.25 or 3 will be enough. And see how it's gone back to cut. So go back and make sure you've gone to join there. And then if we take that one and that one and do a small chamfer on it of 0.2, and the same up this one, that one, and that one, and 0.2, and there's our hinges. So that's basically the box finished. You can start tidying up. If you've got bits that are missing here, then you can just highlight them and move them in out the way. And it's hollow if you want to fill it in. Now you've got an anomaly there, so just click on that one, press the extrude button, and then press on that space to take it in, and that will get rid of that and give you a clean inside. If you don't want a solid inside. The next stage then is put the roof on it. Although you want to print it all in one go. So the roof I've got here. So because the roof is a separate drawing within Fusion now, I can just drag that over. Now it won't let me drag it because the one we've just drawn has not been saved yet. So we'll save this one, literally by going on save and just saving it. And then that will allow us to add this one to it as an insert. And in it comes. Where's it gone? There it is down the bottom. And it's there. And we can see it's all the wrong way round. So let's just straighten it up a bit by 90 degrees. Whoops. And then we want to get it on top of the box. So highlight it and move it. And let's move it up to the top of the box there. Okay, now we want to align it all. So the way to align it quite simply is you can align it in many ways. You can do corner to corner, edge to edge, face to face. I'm going to do an edge to edge. So if we press the align tool here, and we're saying move that one there down to that edge there. I don't want it on that one. I want it on that one. And in it comes, and there it is on the top of the box. We've got a slight anomaly there. So what we can do with that one is click on that and just bring that out to there. And then tidy it up. Okay. That's basically it.
Can you just show how you'd export the STL? So,
oh yes, sorry, by all means, certainly. I will do that now. So that's the complete thing. Now, if you've got the Fusion has got a slight oddity with STL, is that if I go up to utilities and do a make and a 3D print, I can only highlight. I can't highlight both of them. It will only, and this will go straight to my slicing program. If I want to do it, if I've got more than one body, I have to export the STL rather than go this way. If I was to do this, for example, and highlight that one, I'll just export the top half to show you. And that will hopefully open up the slicer in a moment. Where's it gone? There we go. Can you see the slicer program? Is it on the same screen?
Yeah.
Right, so, and see how it's taken that one in. But it's only taken the body, because if you remember, the AA sign was a separate body on the roof that we done. So what you have to do if you've got more than one body is you have to do what we call an export instead. So it's up to the file, it's export. So we highlight the whole thing first so we know what we're exporting. Then up to file and export. And you're going there to not a fusion file, but you're coming down to an STL file, which is there. And I'm going to send it to my own directory and export. And that will take a little while to export. Whoops. Pull his microphone. So while that does it, there's the STL file in Prusa ready now to be sliced. This actually, I wouldn't use Prusa for this because I would use Chitterbox because I do this in resin anyway. No, same principles, obviously. But as I say, that's the only thing with Fusion is that it doesn't like exporting direct to Prusa or Chitterbox or to any program for that matter, more than one body. You have to use the export STL file command to get more than one body in. And as you can see, it comes out perfectly well there.